Welcome to your Week 17 Fantasy Football Update for CBS Local Sports. I'm Jamie Eisenberg, that's Dave Richard. We're going to do what we hopefully have done for you all season long, which is help you win your fantasy week, and hopefully you're going to win a championship. Let's start with the quarterbacks. Cam Newton, unbelievable performance last week, great history against the Falcons. The back doesn't look to be an issue. The car accident obviously is behind him by now. You should start Cam Newton with confidence. He's a top 5 fantasy quarterback in Week 17.
Cam was back last week. Guess who's back this week for the Bears? It's Jay Cutler. The Jimmy Clausen concussion knocks him out. Cutler, the starter at Minnesota. And you just saw what Ryan Tannehill did to the Vikings. Cutler's going to do the same thing, right? Wrong-o. Cutler is going to struggle. We don't think he's going to be able to put up a big game there. The Vikings playing with a lot of momentum despite losing last week. And Cutler does have an opportunity to show off what he can do. Maybe other teams will take notice, but I don't think Cutler really cares either way. Cutler isn't a safe start in Week 17.
Let's stay in that same game and talk about what could be the best running back. I would take Matt Forte over Matt Asiata, but not by much. Look at the way Asiata has played the last 2 weeks. Great game against the Lions in Week 14. Better game against the Dolphins in Week 15. We know the Bears can't stop anything right now. So I think Matt Asiata has another great chance to be a starting fantasy running back for you. Could be a top 12 guy.
And Jets, sorry, Jamie, Jets running backs are definitely not in vogue in fantasy football, so Chris Johnson remains a sit. And obviously Chris Ivory, big game last time he took on the Dolphins. Maybe he can keep it going. I like him better than Chris Johnson. I like Doug Martin better than Chris Johnson. And if you've been keeping track, you know that Doug Martin's had a pretty terrible year. I'll give you one more name. Kerwin Williams of the Arizona Cardinals. I'm going to an undrafted running back ahead of Chris Johnson. I don't even know why we're talking about this guy.
Great call, Dave, and I think if you look at Cam Newton and how he expects to play, it's not going to happen without Kelvin Benjamin probably being a big contributor. That's the guy he targets the most. It's a great matchup. The secondary not very good for the Falcons, even with Desmond Trufant. So I think you look at Benjamin, must-start guy, top 12 potential, can help a lot of people win championships in Week 17.
And if you like the Josh Gordon who was catching passes from Brian Hoyer and Johnny Manziel, you're going to love the Josh Gordon catching passes from Connor Shaw or Tyler Thigpen. Those are the quarterbacks in play. Of course Gordon's a sit. You can't expect many numbers from him. He's struggled all year. He hasn't looked great. I think just this year is a total wash for him. Get him out of your lineup against Baltimore.
Watch, this is the 1 week he comes through for you. But if you need tight end help for you in Week 17, you're looking at matchup, you're looking at opportunity. And hey, Jermaine Gresham has been playing better of late, and the matchup is fantastic. The Steelers really in the second half of the season falling apart against defending tight ends. And A.J. Green's a little bit banged up coming into this matchup. So you know that Dalton is probably going to have to throw a little bit, especially if the Steelers put up points. And Gresham could be a sneaky top 12 option.
And Larry Donnell really hasn't delivered since that big game. When was it? Like Week 4, way earlier this season. I think everybody's gotten off the Larry Donnell bandwagon. And the matchup against Philadelphia just further hinders him. I think the Eagles are good against tight ends, and Larry Donnell is going to continue to be just an assist player for the Giants offense. Odell Beckham's probably going to be a much better contributor.
Odell Beckham's helped a lot of people win fantasy titles. Hopefully we've contributed to your fantasy success. For Dave Richard, I'm Jamie Eisenberg. This has been your Fantasy Football Update for CBS Local Sports.